best band name, Pelican Fan Club.
I mean, I would join that fan club. Honey, I love a good chicken.
Where you go with this show?
Okay, I love a good cock. Okay, are you happy? Yeah. Are you happy I said it? Okay, anyways.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, we have our czar of source material, John.
No matter what I say, it's not going to sound any better.
And our chivalry of Shota, Shotaro.
Some people mistake me for Saitama, because this pussy bald, honey.
What the fuck?
See, John, I've made the conscious decision that from now on, anytime Sho is on these episodes, he's gonna go last because no one can ever follow what he says.
It's true. Nothing. What the actual fuck?
Oh man, what a great way to start this out. So tonight we are going to be doing our 2020 Fenny Award show. 2020 thankfully has come to an end, and it's time for us to look back on some of the best stuff that anime had to offer us throughout the year of 2020. Now, before we get started, there are a couple of caveats that we need to discuss for anime that actually got nominated for the awards we're going to be giving out tonight. So as we have done pretty much ever since we've been doing an award show on this podcast, for shows that started in the previous year but didn't end in the previous year, those are not eligible. Good example is Jujutsu Kaisen, or however the fuck you say it, which started airing in fall of 2020, is still airing because it had 24 episodes, so that's actually not eligible for our nominations, as good as that show may be. Similarly, we also are not allowing ongoing shows to be nominated for our awards, so shows like Black Clover or One Piece or Boruto, those aren't eligible either. So if you were expecting to see those there and you don't, that's why.
So basically, if it's stopped airing in 2020, then it is eligible. I believe the only exception is the OP and ED, which is eligible as long as it stopped airing in 2020. The show can keep going.
As long as that OP stopped being used in 2020, yes. So yeah, that is the singular exception. Other than that, I think that's all the caveats for this award, so we can go ahead and get started. We have, 11 awards to give out tonight? Yes, 11 awards. So we will start with our first award, which is Best Opening, or OP. As we have, it's also worth noting that we have 5 nominees for each of these awards. So we have our first nominee is Anima by Riona for Sword Art Online Alicization War of the Underworld 2, which that is a mouthful.
Yeah, so I thought it was a noteworthy OP. Well, from Sword Art Online, you would expect good animation, so obviously the OP has great animation. I love the sequence when Kirito, goes from grayscale to color. It's really animated well, and the ending sequence when he's fighting, some sort of black spectral boss is really badass, too. And surprisingly, even as shallow as Sword Art Online the show is, for some reason, I really found the OP emotional. Just how Riona sings the word tamashi, which translates to soul. It just sounds so... it just stirs something that makes it super emotional. So yeah, that's why I put it there.
I mean, even as someone who doesn't like Sword Art Online really at all, it's a pretty good OP.
I'd like to point out that Sword Art Online always has really good OPs.
That's true.
It just has really good songs. Animation,
and they're all really well animated too.
Yeah, they're all. It seems like they spent a bunch of the budget on the OPs.
It's true, but
That's like Sword Art Online in a nutshell, though. It's like all the money goes to like the technical stuff, the visuals and the sound design, and none of it goes to developing a compelling story
or characters.
or characters.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have something else to say?
No, I'm agreeing because
Oh,
I'd like to also point out that the source material is just not very good. So
well, fair enough.
they're playing to their strengths. Is all I'm saying.
Dear.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. You got a point. All right, so our second nominee is, oh boy, Arigato wa koichi no kotoba by Nataru Moriyama from Somali and the Forest Spirit. Very, very early in the year. I actually just rewatched this right before we started recording, and oh god, this OP is so cute. Oh, just Somali and the Forest Spirit is so cute anyway, but like the visuals are like very bright and they pop, and the song is just so happy, and it's so good.
Much like the show itself, its strength is with its background art and how beautiful it's drawn, and the OP plays to that with a lot of beautifully drawn set pieces. And the great thing about Somali is that it does not reuse animation from the actual show, so you get unique animation in the OP, which is, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely would agree. Like the OP is very memorable. God, for some reason I thought it was in 2019 that the anime aired, but geez, it's been a long.
Well, that's
year,
how
huh?
long that
Oh,
2020
God.
felt like.
Hasn't it?
But I definitely agree with Sho. Like they don't like reuse assets and spoil stuff like a bunch of OPs usually do. So it's nice.
All right, so our third nominee is Chonotobu Seiso, excuse me,
Suiso.
by Suiso. Not Seiso. It's not pure. By TK from, oh god, Ling. I hate these fucking shit from Ling to Saitsugure. The OP from Pet. Goddamn.
So I know a lot of people have not watched Pet, and Alex might not agree with me, but honey, hidden gem. If you have not seen Pet, I highly recommend it.
No, and this is probably going to be a theme throughout the course of this award show. Like, I really enjoyed Pet, but I don't think it was like the greatest anime ever.
Listen, I'll be the tiebreaker. I'll watch it and I'll tell you who's right.
It has. I will say one thing about Pet is, like, from a technical aspect, it was very well done.
In what way?
Well, like the OP and the ED
yes,
were both
the
really,
OP
really
and
good.
ED, I agree. So TK from Link to Segure is the person who sang the original Tokyo Ghoul OP Unraveled, and that's like one of the most famous OPs. And he doesn't fail to impress, because this one is also really good, as you would expect, vocally. And I really like the visuals because it's really dark, it's really mysterious, really depressing, just like the show, so it sets a good tone.
Yeah, I would agree. John.
Oh, I have nothing to add since I didn't see it.
Donna.
All right, moving on. Our fourth nominee for Best OP is Contradiction by Keisuke. Is that how you say it?
Sure.
Okay.
That's how
From
I'd
The God of
pronounce
High
it.
School.
Honey, I'll be
See,
your
this is an OP
contradiction.
I've seen. Oh, I really like this OP. Visually, it's very appealing. Like, I love the style where it's kind of like graffiti art style, where it has like neon colors and stuff like that. And the song's just a fucking banger. Like, it gets me super hyped to watch The God of High School.
So my taste in music has been described as seizure-inducing.
Shitty.
And this song is definitely seizure-inducing in all the right ways. Yeah, I really like it. It's really catchy. I really like it. The only complaint I have is that near the end of the ED, they 1-for-1 reuse animation shots from the actual show. And it's really dumb because when you actually get to the part of the show that's supposed to be cool and you're seeing the animation shot, you're like, I've already seen this. Why? I'm not interested in this scene anymore because I've already seen this animation.
I've seen this every week for the last 12 weeks. It's not a surprise that I see this fucking fight scene.
Yeah, I'm like,
but I mean,
what?
that's it's kind of just like a thing of that anime OPs do, right? And it's very much a shame that that happens because it spoils a lot of shit. But I just really like the song. Like I didn't
love
like it
the
at
song.
first because I was like, I liked it, and then I hated the part where they do like the weird dubstep part. I'm like, I don't really like it too much. But then I love how the build-up happens in the beginning. The dun 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 dun, like, oh yeah, fight scenes.
Oh God.
It does what it's supposed to do. It hypes you up for the show.
All right, so our fifth and final nominee for Best OP is Ikuze Paradise by Yusuke Kobayashi, Junji Majima, and Miyu Tomita from Interspecies Reviewers.
All right, let's all be honest here. It's the YMCA song.
It is literally like you can put the YMCA song over the top of this, and with very minimal editing, you can do a really good mashup.
I think that this OP is very fun. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, dude, this is YMCA. Like, no doubt in my mind, this is literally the YMCA song. But it's fun. It plays really well into, like, the actual anime as well. Where it's goofy, it's funny, it's stupid. Like, just turn off your brain and enjoy the fucking show.
Yeah, and if you actually pay attention, I mean, assuming you know Japanese, you have a copy of the OP with subtitles. All the lyrics are about busting a nut.
Oh, that's something. It's definitely a catchy OP. I do enjoy that the chorus is like, he says Tengoku, which I believe means heaven, and the way he says it is just so goofy. It's very funny. I mean, the show in general is very funny, so this OP is similar.
I agree. And I think that's probably the biggest reason that we have decided to actually award Ikuze Paradise as our best OP from 2020. So that is our winner of best OP.
Not at
from
all
2020.
because we as a group are skewed toward the salute things. That is not why we awarded.
I'll be honest, it's
not.
100% why I nominated it.
Okay. Shameless Alex over here.
Shameless. I liked it because from a technical standpoint, no, there's nothing technical about this.
There's nothing technical about this. It's about
The golden
the
ratio
song is about
of the boob to thigh. Honey, that was just mathematically
that was
correct.
the only consideration.
Exactly.
The boob
no
thigh ratio.
the song talked about busting multiple nuts. It spoke to me on a deep personal level.
Mhm. Very philosophical.
Very. All right, so Sho, you actually are taking over the next one.
Oh yes. So after OP, we will be awarding the best ending of 2020. So the first nominee we have is Desire by Pelican Fan Club from the second season of Fire Force.
Best band name, Pelican Fan Club.
I mean, I would join that fan club. Honey, I love a good chicken.
Where you going with this show?
Okay, I love a good cock. Okay, are you happy? Are you happy I said
There
it?
we
Okay,
go.
anyways, Desire. So the actual ED, the visuals, is kind of very extremely basic. It's just like a bobblehead toy of one of the characters on a fire truck going through like a mobile game sort of animation. Is really, really, really basic. But I really did like the song. It's just so catchy. The way that Pelican Fan Club sings the word desire is just, it's just something that I can put on in the background and just listen to over and over. It's just really casual, really good background music.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those ones you just can't help but move your foot to. That's how catchy it is.
Well, I'm a sucker for J-Rock, and that's going to be a running theme in this episode. I definitely love Pelican Fan Club. I think Fire Force has always just had, like, the first ED they had was great too, right? I really liked that one, and Desire, it's just really good. It's catchy. It wraps up your anime experience. As much as I hate Fire Force, I do like the ED.
Yeah, Fire Force has a lot of problems, but the ED is not one of them.
But their OPs and their EDs are all pretty darn good usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our second nominee.
Bless David Production.
Bless David Productions.
So our second nominee is Image _ by Memai Siren and TK from Link to Seat Segure again, also from Pets. So again, just with the OP, I love TK from Link to See Tsugaru. His vocals are amazing. But what stands out about this ED is that it combines live action footage with animation. Maybe not the most like creative combination, but this sort of combination is something I really enjoy and it's really pleasing to watch. So I did really enjoy visually watching this ED, and the song itself is just great. I also love the like the rock instruments. I think they're really nice.
The mixture between animation and live action shots, it really harkens back to anime from last year, Sarah Zenmai. Probably not done as well as it was in the ED for that show, but it definitely harkens back to it, and it's nice to see because it is kind of creative mixing the two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's unique to like anime EDs and OPs. There's when we think of anime EDs and OPs, we always think of like, here's the establishing shot, here's the two main characters facing away from each other. One looks up, one looks down. They start running towards something, chasing birds, and like it's very typical, right? But when you watch the ED for Pet, it's not. It's very unique, though it is just silhouettes and it has the live action shots going through it. It still gets a really good image across, and I'm a sucker for J-Rock, so I really like the song too. Like 10 seconds in, I'm like, I'm hyped. Yeah, let's go. Like, let's go.
Yes. So our third nominee is Night Running by Shin Sakura featuring AAA MYYY from
Amy
from Brand New Animal. It's a really soothing vocal song. The background music or the instrumental music is also super soothing, and the visuals are cute and fun and bright and poppy.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a very minimalistic design to its visuals, which to me is not a bad thing. I was telling you guys before we started recording this, it's like I know kind of why, but I don't know exactly why. Every time I watch the ED for BNA, I'm immediately reminded of the video game Sly Cooper, because all of the marketing for that game when it originally came out used very minimalistic designs, and it harkens back to that. And of course, Sly Cooper is a game I really like, so it brings back some good memories for me.
Yeah, the song itself I fucking love it. I listen to it every day still. I didn't like BNA very much, but I like the ending song.
You made that very clear when we did our spoiler cast.
Hey, listen, you didn't want me on that cast on purpose because you know I was going to shit all over it. But Night Running is a very beautiful song. And visually, the ED it's very simplistic. I honestly wasn't too much of a fan of it, but it did look nice. It just wasn't very impactful.
This is fair enough.
So our next nominee is The Great Pretender by Freddie Mercury from Great Pretender.
All right, listen, before anyone says anything, I know this song was made a long time ago. It wasn't made for the anime, but I insisted that this be on here simply because, number one, The Great Pretender is a really, really good song, and number two, Freddie Mercury is one of the greatest vocalists of all time.
So
yeah, but I feel like it's cheating, man.
How is it fucking cheating? Is it
because it's
cheating
a Freddie Mercury song? It's a Queen song.
Is it fucking cheating when JoJo's uses Western songs for their EDs?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, it's not. Fuck all of you.
So our next nominee is Win by CIX.
What the fuck?
From The God of High School. Honestly, The God of High School is great with its OPs and EDs. Win is super catchy. The visuals themselves are just a sideshow of at least unique art, not art that we see in the anime, but it is a sideshow. But it's a catchy song.
Yeah, I really liked Win. I really thought the anime adaptation of The God of High School went really well. To me, it was like it covered the basics, the parts that I cared about. It had pretty good animation, good.
You should ask Natai about it at some point.
Has he seen it?
He has, and he's like, never have I seen something go from such enormous promise to absolute bullshit so fast.
I would have to agree
Listen,
with
it gets better.
that opinion, unfortunately.
No, but it gets better. No,
Okay.
season 2, trust me.
Okay,
Trust
John.
me.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's like One Piece. It gets better by episode 600, guys.
Yeah, at least I'm not preaching that. But I think the visuals in very typical anime ED fashion, it's literally just stills of the characters doing stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, very typical anime ED, right? It's very boring. It's very basic, but at least the song's nice. So there's that.
And
Wait, we didn't talk about the Great Pretenders visuals.
oh yeah.
No, we didn't, because someone was a fucking cunt and moved right over it.
Okay, but to be fair, the visuals aren't that great in that either.
No.
Like,
Hey, no, the cats, they're Freddie Mercury's cats, man.
yes, I got the reference. I thought that was great that they had Freddie Mercury's cats in the ED, but it was drawn by like a 5-year-old kid with chalk.
Oh my god.
Listen. It had nothing to do with the anime other than here's some cats playing musical instruments badly drawn and they're blurry. All right?
Wow.
Anyway, the song's great though. Freddie Mercury's a good artist.
Just not an anime artist.
No, because this is not anime.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm glad we agree on that. So yeah, we're gonna give this award actually to pets. Just because, like we said, there's a lot of unique aspects, and the song's really catchy and great. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, John.
The next award is going to be Best Soundtrack. And for our first nomination, we've got Castlevania Season 3. So, I really liked Castlevania's anime. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people did as well. It's kind of amazing how they did the soundtrack. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not stock, at least, but it's very fitting. Like, they have a lot of, like, visceral, gruesome music, and then there's, like, the cathedral songs that they have for, like, the look at the impact of this image, and
Yeah.
it's just
I
overall
mean,
a great mix.
especially in the third season, they make liberal use of the pipe organ.
Yeah, the freaking pipe organ. But I like it, you know, because, like, a soundtrack for an anime should play very well into the show. Some people don't care about it, and they're wrong, but I care about it.
Oh, music is one of the most impactful things you can do in a scene.
Well, it's because it's not something that, if it's not amazing, it won't make the anime that much worse. But when it is amazing, it just enhances the experience so much more. And that's what I feel like is important, and that's why I think Castlevania Season 3 had a great soundtrack. It's definitely, you know, it's on our list for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Although Mal doesn't consider it an anime.
Well, Mal's wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Show, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I watched Castlevania Season 3. I really liked it, but the soundtrack didn't stand out to me.
Yeah, and that's part of because, like, it's not the most amazing soundtrack, but it fits well, in my opinion. But it doesn't really have very standout songs like some other shows that we've seen this year.
I think the point is, though, it fits well for the story being told. And that's what makes it so good, at least to me.
Yeah, I'd agree. All right, and for our second nominee, we have Great Pretender. Now,
Jazz AF.
it is super jazzy. It has a lot of, like, I'm not sure if it's Western music, but there's rap and hip-hop songs sprinkled throughout the anime. And I just recently finished watching this, and God, I love the soundtrack. It's amazing. I'm a sucker for jazz, too.
I love that they have English vocals on a lot of those songs as well.
Yeah, and there's they do really well with the insert songs during, like, very emotional, impactful scenes. They'll slow it down, and then, you know, like, music is a cue, right? When we're listening, when we're watching, we're listening for those musical cues to know what type of emotion the scene is supposed to draw us in. And there's, like, when there's actiony, like, fast paced, like, the jazz starts, you know, getting up there in the beat, and you're just like, oh, hype stuff's happening. And then they slow it down, come in with the piano, the strings, you know, you feel the emotion. I just watched Soul as well, which is also something that's really about music. So I like jazz. I'm biased as fuck. And Great
You like
Pretender,
jazz?
I love how in the gangster arc they had this one track with, like, trap snare drum that just started like going crazy, and I was like, oh damn, shit's going down.
I know. Oh man, it's so good. The Great Pretender soundtrack is so great, and I feel like honestly, it fit the anime very well, and it really expressed itself. It made a decent show even better, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right.
I agree.
So our next nominee would be, how do you pronounce this? ID Invaded or ID
ID
Invaded?
Invaded.
Okay, ID Invaded. This is not a show I've watched, so I can't say much about the soundtrack, so I'm going to pass this off to Alex.
Well, I think it was Natai who actually put this on the list, which is a shame that he couldn't be here tonight. But I mean, I personally like the soundtrack to ID Invaded as well, mostly because it uses a lot of like character themes and it plays off of those in the scenes that they're in, to sort of like how in the Monogatari series where every character seems to have their own theme. Like that's how the soundtrack is set up in ID Invaded, and it works really, really well since it's a story that's told primarily as like a character study.
Oh.
That's really all I got to say about it. I'm pretty sure it was Natai who put this on here.
Well, all I know about ID Invaded is I know the opening song, but that's about it, because I really like the opening song.
I will say I think it was an underrated anime in 2020 for sure. Was it like phenomenal? No, but it's definitely it's worth your time if you got a few hours to kill.
See, I've heard the opposite, where people are like, yeah, it's like one of the worst anime of 2020,
Oh,
but
shit.
I was like,
I
whatever.
disagree, but
Taste is subjective, so who really cares?
yeah. True.
Have you seen
I have not
the show or
seen
no?
it, no.
All right, well, we'll move on to the next nominee, which is Sing Yesterday for Me. Now, this is an anime I also did not watch, but I do have the soundtrack because, my God, is it beautiful. I fucking love the soundtrack. It's emotional. It's got, like, zing to it when you listen to it. It hits you right in the heart, right in the kokoro, man. And I fucking love it. Like, I think it was you and Natai, right? We were in a voice chat, and you guys were playing the songs, I believe. I was like, yo, this is a good song. What is this? I was like, oh, it's from Sing Yesterday for Me. And I have it on repeat now on my playlist. So, good job.
Yeah, Sing Yesterday for Me is one of those shows that has a very piano like sound, like almost all the songs are centered around a piano in some way or another. And it works so well because so many of the tracks are very melodic and flowing, and it just sounds so good. It actually, I know that the story itself kind of takes place over a span of several months, but the soundtrack, if you just listen to it by itself, is very autumnal. Like it reminds me of fall so much, and I don't know why, it just does.
You know, I tried to watch this anime, but I fell asleep every episode. So.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up.
I really wanted to watch it because I thought it looked really cute, but I couldn't stay awake.
Shut up.
That's fair. But phenomenal soundtrack. Good job. Good job, Sing Yesterday
Ying.
for Me. Listen, dyslexia. And for our final nominee, it's going to be The Irregular at Magic High School Visitor Arc. So this is season, I want to say it's 2. Yeah, season 2 of Irregular at Magic High. And I'm not sure if anyone else watched it on the podcast other than me, because I honestly liked season 1 quite a lot. So I was like, fuck it, I'll watch season 2. I'm not going to watch the movie, but I'll watch season 2. And it's got the same sound design from season 1, so it's not bad. It's very, like, electronic, futuristic, bassy, you know? So it's not terrible, but I wouldn't say it makes the anime greater, but it definitely does not detract from the show.
What, like, singing praise you have for this soundtrack?
Yeah, it's like I want to praise it, but not too much.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it's not like, when we compare it to, at least for Sing Yesterday for Me, Great Pretender, and Castlevania, I like those more.
Yeah.
That's me, though. But at least it wasn't bad, is all I'm saying.
I can't say that I've gone and actually watched this, but I have listened to some tracks from its OST, and it is a pretty good OST.
It's not bad, like I said. But would I call it soundtrack of the year? No. Because obviously that has to go to Great Pretender, right?
Yes.
And fucking Great Pretenders. Oh, if you don't want to watch Great Pretender, which you should, it's not that long. It's on Netflix. I binged it over like 2 days. At least check out the soundtrack because you will not be disappointed. Because that's what got me into it. Because you guys were like, "Hey, listen to the soundtrack," and I was like, "Okay, okay," and I just kept listening to it. And I was like, "All right, I think I need to watch the show now."
Yeah. Yeah. Great Pretender is great.
Never do that again.
Okay.
Never again.
All right. Well, I have the next award, and it is for Best Background Art. So our first nominee in this category is Fire Force Season 2, which I don't think I need to say anything else except bless David Production.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good shots of the city in Fire Force. In general, Fire Force's visuals are its best, its selling point, really. And the background art is definitely up to par.
Yeah. All right. So our second nominee is Great Pretender. Show, you and I mentioned this in our spoiler cast that we did, where if you look at a lot of the background art, it's very simple, a lot of geometric shapes. But I think you and I both came to the conclusion that more wasn't necessarily better in Great Pretender's case.
I mean, yeah, the best part about Great Pretender is that it had a very unique style. Very, like you said, geometric, very bright colors, and very simple. But the great thing about it is that it's refreshing, it's new, it's something you don't see often, and sometimes that's better than hyper realistic backgrounds.
I'd also argue that the color palettes that they use in the background arts contrast very well with the music. Like, it seems everything was put in place for a reason in the show, and it plays off each other very well.
I would say both that and the fact that it helps the characters themselves stand out better in the scenes that they're in. Yes, no?
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, I guess I'm the only one that thinks that. Moving on. So our third nominee in this category is ReZero Season 2 Part 1.
I haven't seen it.
Wow.
I know,
Blasphemy.
because you hate ReZero.
Yeah. I hate ReZero.
So I know the reason that I wanted to nominate this in particular is because a lot of the first half of this second season takes place in and around a forest, which is, you know, you'd think that'd be something that'd be really, really easy to cheat in your background art, you know, because you can just, you know, put some colors in the background that look like trees and branches and shit, and it'll be fine. But no, they took the time to really, like, draw out every single part of this forest that they're walking through, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, ReZero is definitely really consistent with its visuals, and I particularly like the snow scenes in this arc.
Yes, and let's not forget the rabbits.
Love rabbits.
I don't think you'd like these rabbits.
I love all rabbits equally.
Till it's tearing your face off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our fourth nominee in this category is Somali and the Forest Spirit. Now, John, I know that you didn't particularly care for the show itself, mostly because you're not a huge fan of that Monster of the Week kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
But you got to admit the show looked great.
Oh, yeah, of course. Like, you know, just like with Made in Abyss, I thought Made in Abyss was the Monster of the Week thing. I was tired of it. I really don't care.
Wait, how is Made in Abyss Monster of the Week?
Because you see a new monster every week. What?
I'm done with you, John.
Duh. But
I mean, is he wrong? Is he really wrong?
No,
Let's be honest.
Monster of the Week means there's no progression. Made in Abyss is an adventure where there's progression, but whatever. Somali and the Forest Spirit was great.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Like, I read the manga before the anime came out, and I've got to say the anime is very strikingly well put together. It took the original. It didn't change much from the original art designs, but it did make them more rounder and cuter and more pleasing to your eyeballs. It's not as rough. The manga's rough, man, but it's not that rough because it's still a lot of detail put into each scene that you're looking through. And it's visually appealing. It's a feast for your eyes. And I thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
I also loved how the color palette changed subtly depending on what town they were in that week. Like, each place they visited had a slightly different color palette. That was really nice.
Yeah, definitely one of the biggest selling points of Somali is all the pretty places they go to. So it's no surprise that we've nominated it.
And the crazy characters that they find.
Mm-hmm.
Eccentric characters.
Very eccentric. And our final nominee in this category for Best Background Art is Sword Art Online Alicization War of the Underworld 2.
Sword Art Online, there's a lot of shit you can give it, but you can't shit on its visuals.
No, as much as I love shitting on the Sword Art Online, and believe me, I do, I have to give it props when it comes to stuff like this because it is its bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's got to play to its strengths, man. That's all it got. That's all it got.
All right, well, with all that being said, it is no wonder that we also give Best Background Art to Great Pretender.
Now,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it was very close between Smalley and Great Pretender.
Yeah, we
Like,
went back
yeah.
and forth about that a lot.
I definitely, Somali is definitely the runner-up here because, again, it looks beautiful. It's visually a feast for your eyes, and it's very unique, right? But I do like how Great Pretender did it better because not only is it unique, it plays well into the story versus Somali, which is just like, hey, we're just going to make everything pretty, and you're just going to look at it and be like, wow. Okay, next week, wow.
If you want something pretty, definitely would recommend Somali, but I would say Great Pretender is the more unique art style.
Both are great. Both are great in this regard, though.
So, the next award is Best Animation, and our first nominee is Fire Force Season 2. It was also nominated
Again.
for art.
Bless David Production.
And it is again
Bless
nominated
David
for animation. But no, literally, this is the main reason to watch Fire Force, the animation. Plot, shit. Characters, shit. Animation, the only thing it has going for it. And honey,
The porn is pretty good, though.
the what?
The porn is
porn.
pretty good.
Oh, the porn. We ain't even getting started with that. But like this season of Fire Force, just like the first season, amazing fight scenes, amazing fire animation, great choreography. It's for me, it's literally the only reason to watch the show.
Genuinely, though, I mean, this is not something that you really think about. It's the way that they animate fire and smoke in Fire Force is amazingly beautiful.
Some of the best animation I've seen. I really like Fire Force for the animation.
Yeah.
So our second nominee is Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2.
John,
So,
explain yourself.
listen, I am a fan of Kaguya. All right, Kaguya-sama Love is War is a phenomenal manga. Season 1 wasn't that great. It wasn't that bad either, regardless of whatever Alex says. But Season 2, holy fuck, man, they went all in with their budget. Like, I was honestly very surprised that how much more animation they could fit into this show. They make everything more, they make the reactions more popping. They make more like crazy cuts and transitions. Overall, it flows a lot better than Season 1 did. That being said, that's not really the strong point of the show. That's not the purpose of the show, but it has good animation, man. Remember the memes with Baka Chica last year?
I think the biggest reason you wanted to nominate this is because it was such a step up from Season 1.
Yes. And it's just kind of crazy because what kind of slice of life rom-com anime like does that, right? Like they go to Season 2, they're like, let's fucking up the ante here. Let's make the animation even better and crazy.
Nichijou was great from the word go in its animation. That was just but in all fairness, that was just KyoAni saying, "Here's like $1 billion. Let's make a crazy anime."
Yeah.
Yeah, KyoAni is the exception here, really. And our third nominee is Magyar Record Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Gaiden, which I have not watched.
So this is the spin-off to Madoka Magica, which got very mixed reviews overall. And some of it's not unwarranted because, let's be honest, it is based on a mobile game. Personally, I liked it a lot, but I'm also a slut for Madoka Magica and Mahou Shoujos in general. But I chose this because regardless of how its story plays out, this was still done by Studio Shaft, and it looks just as good as Madoka Magica did all those years ago. And Shaft is still, I mean, ever since the Monogatari series has kind of gone on hiatus, for lack of a better term. Who knows if they're ever going to be doing any more Monogatari animation. Like, Studio Shaft has kind of gone in the background. They do Fate stuff from time to time, but like really, who cares? But then they came back and did this, and my God, it's like they never missed a beat from Madoka Magica.
Lovely.
It still got that crazy, like, there's like cutaways when they show the witches. It's like that crazy, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like they're made out of like newspaper clippings, and it's fucking amazing.
Honey, put that in the recycling.
Ooh, got him.
Damn.
And our next nominee is Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld 2. There's a lot of sequels going on here.
Yeah, there are.
Specifically in that one title as well. However, yeah. Again, Sword Art Online, if anything, it's good at visuals.
Yeah.
There are fights.
Yeah, we've said it enough already. Like, it's fucking amazing when it comes to its visuals.
There are lots of fights, and they all... Maybe you don't care if the character dies, but it looks pretty. And our last nominee is the Irregular at Magic High School Visitor Arc.
So they did a transition. Madhouse did the original season 1, which I adored. Season 2 was done by 8-Bit, which I believe is an offshoot of Madhouse. I could be wrong.
Yes, a lot of people from Madhouse went on to go work at 8-Bit, yes.
So I thought 8-Bit did a fine job. It's definitely not as polished as season 1 was. I don't know if that's because it was rushed to come out this year for some whatever reason instead of postponing it like literally every other anime. But good job, 8-Bit. You didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, we make fun of Madhouse because, you know, they can only count to 1, and we found out with Overlord there's a really good reason they can only count to 1.
Hey, that's because they hemorrhaged all their good employees to 8-Bit.
Oh, maybe
Probably.
8-Bit should be handling Overlord.
Maybe. Who knows? 8-Bit, do it. Get on it, man.
But yeah, I think, number one, I think a lot of people were kind of surprised to find out, number one, that Irregular Magic High School was getting a sequel. And, you know, it looks good. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips from it, and yeah, like, the animation is solid. That's really all I got to say about it. Like, it genuinely looks like solid animation.
Yep, but, however, we will have to give the award to Fire Force Season 2.
Bless David Production.
Yeah, honestly, this show just blew the entire medium out of the water because I just can't handle how good the animation is. I love it so much.
I'd like to just say that it's because Ufotable didn't come out with an anime this year.
You know, hot take.
And they did too.
Hot take.
They did too.
I'm not a big fan
what?
of Ufotable animation.
Oh, wow.
Well, taking that terrible take out of consideration, no, Ufotable did. They did the Mugen Train movie. That came out in 2020. We didn't. Number one, we don't have a movie category, so it didn't get nominated for that. But also, number two, we typically don't nominate movies for this stuff anyway. So, Ufotable did make an anime this year or last year.
I guess I'll have to check it out, and then I'll tell you how much wrong Fire Force Season 2 is for this category. But no, I mean, honestly, bless David Productions. They did a fantastical job with, like, I'm be honest, when we first talked about Fire Force, we were like, we don't know. David Productions, just work on JoJo's. What are you doing? And then Fire Force Season 1 comes out, and you're like, oh, whoa, what the fuck? And they definitely kept the production value up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so the next category is going to be Best Character Design. And our first nominee is Appare Ranman. Now, I have seen the first 3 episodes of this show. It's definitely unique. It's weird. It's unique.
I know a lot of personally I loved Appare Ranman, mostly because it reminds me a lot of JoJo's Part 7, which is phenomenal. Steel Ball Run. But the character designs in this show are just bonkers, and it's just every single character is like what I like to call a silhouette character. Like, you could black out their entire character and just see the silhouette of them, and you could probably tell who they are. And to me, that's a sign of really good character design.
Yeah, to me, it was just weird because they're very over-the-top eccentric, and that's why I thought it was weird. Maybe I'll finish it. Who knows? I did only give it like 3 episodes, but
Oh no, do they? I'm looking at some of these designs, and the girl or boy with the red hair Looks like
The main character is a dude.
looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh character, and I'm concerned.
Well, you like Yu-Gi-Oh.
That doesn't mean I like the character designs.
Yeah, as you can see, it's weird and eccentric, right? Like, I'm not crazy in this regard.
No, you're not wrong. They are very out there. Again, like JoJo character designs. This is probably why I like it, because it reminds me of that so much.
All right. Well, for our next nominee, we've got Haikyuu to the top. I'm not
Pretty
sure why
boys.
this Haikyuu's anime looks way better than the manga.
It wouldn't take much, John.
So
I mean, it looks. I think the character designs look fine. I mean, it's a freaking sports anime, man. How is it supposed to be that much better than whatever?
Because all the guys are hot, John.
Okay.
wait, what? I don't know what you have against sports anime. Okay, I don't know where that
Nothing.
comment came from, but Haikyuu in general has amazing character designs. I love the style they used for it. And this season in particular, the first half of the season was basically all just slice of life, like nothing actually happened. But it was all focused on Hinata, and he made the most adorable expressions all the time. And I just can't. Ugh, it was so amazing. It was so pleasing to my soul.
See, another anime where the porn is really good.
Wait,
See,
that has nothing to do
again,
with
I just
porn. I'm just saying
I
he's
just pointed that out.
wholesome
Like,
and
Haikyuu
cute.
has some good porn.
I'm just saying. I feel like our panel of judges are a little bit biased towards Haikyuu. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Can
we
you
are,
blame
because we
us?
like pretty boys in Haikyuu.
All right. Anyway, we're moving on to our next nominee, Somali and the Forest Spirit. It has really good character designs. Like, sure, it's Monster of the Week, but it looks great.
Hey, it may be Monster of the Week, but those monsters look fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The Demon Shota and the Harpy Lady. Oh, they're so amazing.
I like to think that that's like the basis of your avatar design.
Oh, I didn't think that. I mean,
You just subconsciously chose it.
You just subconsciously said, "This is what I want. Do it."
I prefer an orange color palette, but I wouldn't mind having a Demon Shota. I mean, all Demon Shotas are good Shotas. So.
Just the character design, like, and the design for the golem is really good, and the character design for Somali is so cute.
Yeah, and again, the source material is also phenomenal when it comes to the design. Like, it's the anime definitely improved on it. I definitely really enjoyed that part of it. So our next nominee, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I watched a couple episodes of this too. Can't say it's my favorite. I'm gonna hand this off to Show.
You don't,
let's be
you
honest.
don't like the daikon legs?
No.
Oh,
What do you mean no? Okay, I thought the daikon legs were super adorable. Like, the main character has these, like, Powerpuff Girl legs where they're, like, huge round things. And I'm like, yes! Poor baby, I can relate to being deformed.
Dang, what?
What the hell?
Listen, we're not all,
I'm more
we're not
confused.
all created equal. Honey, we all have our quirks, and we're all beautiful. 'Cause we're all different. Anyway, I think the character designs are super cute, super chibi. I really like the colors they used with the character designs. Very poppy, very fun. I just like it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that Hanako-kun was like the best anime of the year by far, but at least the character designs are fun. That's a really good word to use to describe them.
Fun. Speaking of fun, not really fun. Tower of God is our next and last nomination for character design, and god damn it, I hate Rachel.
Fuck you. Rachel did nothing wrong.
See,
Which is going to be awkward in a couple of awards.
I'm just saying, she was designed so well. It elicited the emotion that it was supposed to elicit from me, which is pure hatred. Okay?
Honey,
So,
if you hate Rachel,
really
you
like
hate
the
me,
characters.
because we're the same person.
no, well, I've played
That
Dead by
explains a
Daylight
lot.
with you before. But I really like the character designs of Tower of God. The anime itself was not a great adaptation in my mind, but the beginning parts of the show and the manga, the source material, the manhwa, is pretty basic and boring anyway. I'm definitely looking forward to season 2, and I really love all the wacky characters that we meet, and and then we have our cute little main character Bam, like, precious little boy, Rachel, you bitch.
Listen, Rachel is more precious than Bam. But yeah, I don't know what they did. There's just something about the colors and the way they did the lines, but all of the characters really pop out really well in all the scenes. And kudos to how they animated or drew the lizard man or the dragon man. Like, it's really
the alligator man.
Yeah, alligator man. It's really hard to get like animal people right.
Florida
and
man.
His design is really done well.
Yeah. What's his name? Raku? Rack? I think it's Rack. Anyway, yeah, he's done really well. And I really liked his design because he's super funny. He seems like super imposing. And then there's other times where they do his chibi form and it's fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, great job, Tower of God, for doing your character designs. And the award, though, is going to have to go to Somali and the Forest Spirit. Everyone saw this coming, right? Best character design. Honestly speaking, I think Somali definitely takes it because it's just visually it's beautiful. It stays true to the source material and improved upon it. They didn't make very many liberal decisions with that, which is great because it plays off of the strengths of its source material. You do what you do well, and you let that help carry the rest of your show.
Mm-hmm. It's great when
Absolutely.
the whole premise of your show is going around and meeting people, and the people that you meet look super amazing. So that definitely complements.
And one thing you cannot accuse this of having, because this is something that happens in a lot of anime these days, you cannot accuse the characters of having same face.
Ha! No.
Yeah.
Because
Some of them
none
don't even
of
have
the
faces.
characters are the same race.
That's never stopped anime producers before from making
Oh,
same face
God.
characters.
Oh dear. Well, our next award is for Best Male Character. And our first nominee is Garfield Tinzel from ReZero Season 2 Part 1. And this nomination is definitely not because of the porn. This one particularly.
Yeah, right.
Not the porn. But besides him being hot, it's really interesting with all the iterations that we go through in this arc, how Subaru interacts with him in different ways, and he has like completely different reactions in all the different iterations, and it's a really interesting process trying to get to know who this person is and what he wants and what his motivations are. It's very confusing, but he definitely stands out as someone with a strong personality and a distinct set of principles, and I really like that about ReZero does that really well, and again they do it with this character.
Yeah, completely agree. He's definitely in this first half of the second season. He's definitely one of the most, probably actually the most compelling character, simply because of how much he changes throughout each of the different, what do you want to call it, like changes that Subaru makes. And it's fun to watch. Also, like the voice actor really sells it too.
Oh yeah, the voice actor. I need him to scream at me. So yeah. Our second nomination goes to Golem from Somali and the Forest Spirit. Okay.
Best dad.
You're named for your race, sad. But
Best dad.
yes. And not just that, he has a character arc, which is funny because the existence of a character arc is not always guaranteed in anime. But lo and behold, this character has a character arc where he, is trying to come to terms with his short lifespan, and he's learning more about emotions. Maybe not the most creative, unique character arc, but it is there, and he does have it.
Well, it's because because Golem, he's a golem, right? He's machine. He's not man. He's not supposed to have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But once he starts exploring the world of Somali, he starts realizing, like, at first he didn't care about doing anything but protecting the forest. But as he expanded his horizons, he learn there's more to the just protecting the forest and the world. There's an actual world out here we can explore. So it's great to see him like emotionally evolve and become an actual character.
Definitely.
Yes.
Our next nomination goes to Hanako-kun from Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Again, not for the porn. No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That is
sure.
Police.
That's not what we're about.
Hey, no, he's a 1,000,000-year-old ghost. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh
dear. It's hard to describe why he's a good character without going into too many spoilers. But I guess a big part of the show is trying to figure out who Hanako-kun is and why he died and why he's haunting the school. And I do like where they go with it.
So, if anyone doesn't know, like, Hanako is like this, it's one of the like great 7 Japanese mysteries in schools where a girl died in a toilet for some reason and she haunts the toilet, right? This is just like a
Moaning
fucking
Myrtle.
crazy story.
It's Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah,
It's basically what it is.
Moaning Myrtle. And Hanako-kun, Hanako is, instead of a female, it's a boy. And he's definitely like, he seems like he's supposed to be mischievous at first, but then he does things that are like, it seems like out of character. And you're left wondering like, well, is he just a mischievous spirit? Is he just trying to fuck with the MC? Like, what is his deal, you know? So I definitely understand why you would nominate him for this, because it is intriguing at the least.
There's a lot of mystery behind him.
Honestly, when I came into this show, it presented itself as like something that would be very shallow Monster of the Week. But as we go into it, the show really does delve deep into his character and his arc and his personality and his past. So I was very impressed by how much they characterized him. And yeah, so our next nominee is Makoto Edamura from Great Pretender.
Edamame.
He is such a snack. Listen, 2020 was a small pool, so Edamura is here. I don't know. Do you have something to say, Alex, about Edamura?
I just watching him throughout the entire run of the show was fucking fun as all hell. Just because of all the crazy shit he gets himself into.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah, I definitely love Edamame as a character. I love the culmination, though, towards the climax of the end of the season, where he goes on his spiel. I loved that part. Like that. But I was also disappointed because it's like, this has been like building up for a very long time now. And when he does that whole like spiel at the end, I was just like, he's finally done it. The boy's done it, lads.
Oh dear.
And I think he could have been a more interesting character. But the problem with the Great Pretender, with all the characters, is that we don't have enough time to visit all of them.
Yet.
Right? Yet. Season 2 when?
Oh, I need a season 2. But yeah, I definitely love his personality. He's a very fun character to watch. I've said in the spoiler cast that I have a lot of problems with all the characters with Great Pretender, so I'm not a big fan of his arc, but he is a fun character. So yeah, our last nominee is Tsukasa from Pets. And I really loved Tsukasa because, first of all, I love suffering. I love people who fuck people over. And Tsukasa is one of those people because okay, so I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but Tsukasa is a person who completely wrecks people's lives. And he's so messed up and so twisted. And it's just so gratifying to watch. Yes, I'm a horrible person. Sue me. Okay, that's it.
I think you should really watch Redo of Healer.
No! I have limits.
No. I definitely get what you're saying. Like, although I would say Tsukasa is a slightly higher level than these characters, he's kind of a combination between someone like Kaiki from the Monogatari series mixed with Izaya from Durarara, where both of those characters are just out for themselves, and that's 100% what Tsukasa is all about.
I just love how you can literally see his mind collapsing in on itself as like all the pain and shit that he's doing like all comes back to fuck him over. Ugh, it's just so good. And that is why we have chosen Tsukasa as the best male character. Just because his arc is so impactful, and the way all the things he does comes back to him really, really is a great arc, and it's an arc that ends. So it's a complete arc that is satisfying to see the end of. So I really appreciate that.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I would agree. The culmination of a character arc is very important to a show. Like when you have main characters, especially, and for it to for him to come full circle and he gets his just desserts or whatever, right? It's all been building. It's all been culminating. It's good to have closure like that. Like I definitely think in this list of characters we have for best male, the way that you've described Tsukasa sounds way better than the rest of the characters, just in my opinion, because it's important to have that, right?
Yeah,
For sure. All right, so moving on, we are now going to best female character, and we will start with our first nominee being Dorothy from Great Pretender.
I want to hang out with Dorothy all day. She's so awesome.
Yeah, the thing that I loved about pretty much all the characters in Great Pretender, and I said this on our spoiler cast, is like none of these people are particularly like virtuous characters. Like they may be doing what they're doing for halfway decent reasons, but the means still don't justify the ends, really.
Listen, they're just confident men and women of culture.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay. I love how beautifully she's drawn too. I just really like her design.
Well, they draw her hands like not completely black because, you know, people's real hands, black people's real hands, they don't have is it melanin? Is that what makes it dark skin?
Yes, the pigment.
Right? The pigment, yeah. So they drew that properly, which I was surprised. I was like, "What? An anime cares about like an anatomically
Japanese
correct
people care about black people? What?
What? Dude, I mean, in cartoons they don't do that, but I thought that was great as a design choice.
Yeah.
And I wanted more Dorothy.
Me too. But I mentioned this during our spoiler cast. It's like the Great Pretender was phenomenal in that way that like there was diversity within the cast of characters, but it was never like it was never pointed out. Like you just kind of noticed it was there, and then everyone was like, and moving on.
Yeah.
And that was the great thing about just the characters in general in Great Pretender, in my opinion. Like their nationality and their race was there, but it wasn't like who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And the same can be said for Dorothy. All right, so for our second nominee, we have Echidna from ReZero Season 2, Part 1. I know if Natai were here, he would be saying right now,
Yeah, you take your piss drinking queen and you go somewhere else, sir.
I'm still not unconvinced that's supposed to be a JoJo's reference. The piss drinking.
It might be.
What is it with Japanese people and drinking piss? What the fuck?
I don't know. Bear Grylls lemonade.
I guess. But no, Echidna was a great antagonist, sort of, from the second season. It was great to finally meet her after kind of having hints of her in the first season. I definitely think she lived up to the hype, at least so far.
I love how Echidna is a better villain than the actual main villain of ReZero. Like, she is the epitome of, like, the mustache twirling, like, mastermind.
Chaotic evil. She's the epitome of chaotic evil.
And she just owns it so well. She's just so crazy, but at the same time whimsical and, like, hyper elegant. I just love her. She's so evil, and I love it.
Again, I think a lot of that also goes down to the portrayal by the voice actor as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our third nominee is Lenore from Castlevania Season 3.
Oh, villains.
Ooh, vampire titties.
Vampire titties.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, that was one thing. I don't understand how, like, fucking a vampire would be pleasurable. I just don't.
Because it's cold.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, wouldn't it be really, really cold?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, but Resident Evil Village came out, and everyone's going nuts over the mommy's Milky's
the tall titty vampire.
It's the world's a weird place. All right.
Japanese people have weird kinks.
Oh god. But yeah, like Lenore was such a great manipulator. I love how she subtly, twisted whoever, I forget the name of the guy. Purple hair? Did he have purple hair? Whatever. Silver hair. She twisted the mind of the prisoner to basically her whims. That was really fun to watch.
And it was fun to watch over several episodes too. I was so glad that it didn't all happen in one episode, and then you're like, oh, okay, it just happened. And like, no, you watched this subtle manipulation take place over the course of nearly an entire season.
Yeah, and Lenore, she's just out of all the vampire sisters, the four? There's four of them, right?
Yes, there's 4 total. There's
4 total vampire sisters. She just is so much more interesting compared to the rest. The others are kind of just like one-trick ponies, in my opinion. But Lenore is she has a lot more depth to her.
The other ones are also blunt, and like she's the only one that's like, let me finesse this shit. Mm-hmm. All right, so our 4th nominee is Rachel from Tower of God. John.
Fuck Rachel.
Rachel did nothing wrong.
Listen. Like I said earlier, I hate Rachel, and I think that it's just good character design for Rachel because they did what they were supposed to do, make me hate Rachel.
Listen, why is Bam given everything he gets, and he doesn't even have to work for it? Bam is a privileged bitch, and Rachel deserves to be, have good things too, because she actually works for the things she gets.
Okay, sure. If that's what you think, I've got some things I'm going to throw at you after this. Anyway, I think, as much as I hate to admit it, I do think that Rachel is a good character, female character, because she plays her part really well in the story. Like, you wouldn't think that she was a actual, like, main character based off of how the show is run until you get towards the end of Tower of God, and then you're just kind of like, oh, what the fuck just happened? And it just gets better from there.
Listen, everybody might hate Rachel, but without Rachel, Tower of God would be boring as hell.
Honestly, you're right.
Honey, the villains are the best characters.
Whatever. Okay.
All right. And last but not least, our final nominee for Best Female Character is Yui Yuigahama from My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu Climax.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello.
Fucking love Yui.
And
precious.
The fact
Yui.
that she got so much screen time in the final season, which is apparently not going to be the end of the show, and we have learned recently. Anyway, Yui is great. I mean, she was great throughout the entire run of Snafu. All you really need to do is go watch our Snafu spoiler cast that John and Natai and I did. But yeah, she's so great. She's like, Hachiman!
I think Yui is a great female character just because she's so precious, right? And she gives a lot of thought to the main character. She's a very good supporting character, and they did my girl wrong.
I hate Snafu.
Oh, shut up. Why are you here?
Bye.
Anyway, so we have decided to award Best Female Character to Echidna from ReZero Season 1, Part 2. Villains for the win, I guess.
Honey.
Yeah, as a villain, as a female character, she's definitely top of the list because Rachel just didn't have enough time to develop. Yui didn't really contribute too much to the story herself, Lenore also didn't have enough screen time. Same thing for Dorothy. It's just like Echidna had the perfect mix of screen time and evilness to draw out her character.
Yeah,
yes.
It's funny to me. I'm looking over this list of nominees. It just struck me that 3 of these 5 are villains. One is at best an anti-hero, and the only one that can really be described as a hero is Yui.
I mean, who doesn't love a girl who can misbehave? But no, Echidna, I love Echidna's monologues. Like, she has a lot of them, and she nails them.
Yeah, she's like literally the queen of monologues because she has so many of them, and like every one of them is just beautiful.
Tune in for the monologue of this week.
But instead of
All right,
monster of the week,
so-
it's monologue of the week.
So the next category is going to be Best Directing. And our first nominee is going to be Castlevania Season 3. I personally think it was really well directed because, first of all, the source material, there's not a lot to work with, man. There's not a lot of lore. There's characters that don't really have that much lore either.
Yeah.
And I personally believe that the anime did a phenomenal job at setting everything up from Season 1 all the way to Season 3. And I can't wait for Season 4. Again, they didn't have very much to go on, dude. Castlevania as a game does not have very much information about characters, about things that are happening in the world, and yet here we are with a whole fucking world built around
Yeah,
it.
that's the best
right?
thing about the Castlevania anime is that it takes what little information you are drip fed through the games and builds an entire world around it. And my God, the pacing in Season 3 literally spot on.
Honestly, Season 3 was my favorite season of Castlevania, and I'm a big fan. Well, not a big fan. I like the Netflix adaptation of Castlevania. I don't like any other iteration of it. I just really like how they incorporated the politics and like intrigue. And honestly, the vampire women are the best part. So,
Sexy vampire titties.
oh yeah.
Japan, why, you weirdos? All right, moving on to our next nominee. We've got Great Pretender. Now, I recently have just finished watching this, and I didn't like the first 2 episodes because I was confused. I didn't really care. And then it kind of just keeps getting better and better the more you watch it because there's a lot of intrigue involved. It seems very shallow at the very beginning, and it does that on purpose because that's how the main character is. He's just a shallow con man, basically.
It's almost like the anime itself is conning you.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. But I thought the directing went pretty well because by the end of it, I cared. I cared about each character arc. I cared about all these individuals, though they're all shitty people. I still cared, and I wanted to know more about them.
Yeah, the greatest thing about The Great Pretender is that it is an original anime, so everything you're seeing was made for the anime specifically. And the plot and everything, I mean, it has some hiccups, but overall it's a really interesting story they're telling. And yeah, like John said, the characters are very interesting to see grow and see where they go.
Yeah.
All right. Our next nominee is going to be Haikyuu to the top. I haven't seen this. I'm going to need you guys to expand.
Like I mentioned, the whole first arc of this season was just literally slice of life training, like nothing, no games, no like tension, no nothing. But honestly, that was the best part of the arc because
honestly though, coming off of the 3rd season, you kind of needed a breather.
But even then, that is a good point you make. But even then, it's just I love how they made the downtime so pleasurable and so interesting and so fun to watch,
and kind of relatable too.
Yeah.
I mean, as someone who played sports in school, I mean, it was relatable to me.
I'm not straight, so I don't play sports.
Wow.
What?
Okay, one of those is a lie. I'll let you figure that out. But no, I really liked how usually like boring something that you would consider filler, they made super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. And our next nominee is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Now, like I said, I watched a little bit of this, and it just felt like it's shallow Monster of the Week, but it might have just been at the very beginning, because I did see hints of, like, Hanako-kun being actually interesting. I just didn't want to finish watching it week by week, so I just forgot all about it.
Yeah, honestly, the premise of this show and how it sets up in season 1 makes it feel like it's going to be a super generic, like, throwaway season trash. But it actually has a really good story, and it actually does have really interesting characters, or, well, specifically the main character. So I was surprised how they turned a very simple, idea, and they made it interesting. They made it into an actual story that I care about.
Yeah, and just because the premise is like Hanako-kun, like, yes, we all know the story about Moaning Myrtle, Also, the monsters are kind of cool.
Honestly, like, because there's a lot of anime about like killing yokai, killing demons, and a lot of those anime are super boring and like repetitive. But this show takes that formula and makes it, interesting and telling an actual story and not the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, the execution is very unique. I would agree with that. And our last nomination would be Uchitama. Have you seen my Tama?
Honey,
I
did you say Catboy? Because I have 15 of all different colors, shapes, and sizes.
I mean, I can say cat girl.
There are a few cat girls too, honey. Whatever cat you want, whatever pussy you want. I have bald, I have furry, I have all shades of gray. No, but
Good lord.
So this is an adaptation of an anime where like it's like you're like a toddler drawing cats, sort of like actual cats. They're like circle with eye and face, like very simple, like emojis. And then so they came off with this is a spin-off of that show where they are now like actual anime catboys based on the quote unquote personalities of the emoji cats. So, and it actually turned out to be a really fun, interesting, well, not interesting, just like a fun, casual slice of life about catboys running around the streets. And I thought that was really interesting that they took like such a very simple base product and they turned it into something a bit more, a bit more than that.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
It's got to have good directing if it takes such a basic and weird, stupid premise and makes it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you do
it's
that?
It's just like Digimon, honey.
It's weird.
You take a Tamagotchi and you turn it into a masterpiece.
You take an animal, smash it against a refrigerator. Now you've got refrigerator Kulemon.
Wow.
Exactly. The creativity
Don't actually
boundless.
throw animals against refrigerators, kids.
Oh no.
And to no one's surprise, I think best directing, and we all agreed, goes to Castlevania Season 3. Because again, just like Uchitama, there's not a lot to work with. And it, props to the directors who are just like, you know what, I've had a vision. And I know what I'm going to do to make this somehow enjoyable to our viewers and make people buy money.
Yes.
Use money to buy stuff from us.
And fuck you, Mal, for not including it on your list.
It's an anime. Fuck you, Mal.
So, our next award is Best Voice Acting. And our first nominee is Ayumu Murase as Shoyo Hinata from Haikyuu to the Top. Oh, he's so adorable.
Hinata best boy. I mean, what more can you say?
I like when he squeaks. He has such a squeaky voice. Listen, he's bae, and that's all I need to say. That was an intentional rhyme. Our next nominee is Kenjiro Tsuda as Akihito Sakaido Narihisago from Ego Invaded. Sorry, Id Invaded. My bad.
I really have nothing to say here because I haven't actually watched the show.
Oh.
Natai was the one that put this here.
Freaking Natai, why would you put this and not be on?
If you want to know why he's good, you can
ask Natai.
Sure.
Yeah, just at Natai.
Yeah, join our Discord
Fucking
and at Natai. Our next nominee is Megumi Ogata as Hanako-kun from Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I really like... So Hanako-kun's a ghost, and I really like how creepy the voice actress made him sound.
Yeah, she always does... she literally voices like every androgynous young boy, I swear. That's just... She does, doesn't she? Like, the person from Angel Beats, she voices him, right?
I think so. I'll look it up.
President
Hold
guy?
on.
I wouldn't really call them androgynous. I would just call them small boys.
Small boys, yeah. The shonens. No, the fuck. What do we call them again? Shotas. Thank you. I moon rune sometimes. Listen. It's been over an hour. I'm tired. I definitely think she has been typecasted, but she performs very well. And especially with a character like Hanako-kun, I definitely would agree.
Ah, shit,
like,
she's the voice of Shinji in Evangelion.
getting the
Show's a
robot.
queen.
Yeah, she's the Shota queen.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay. Our next nominee is Yui Ishikawa from Violet Evergarden. From, the show Violet Evergarden, side story, Eternity
Yeah.
and the Auto Memory Doll. I don't know what that is. Is that a movie?
Yeah, so this is actually an OVA that happens to be feature length. That was released in theaters. Now, technically, this is from 2019, not 2020. However, it was only available in the West in early 2020. That's why it's kind of included here. But I wanted to include it because, let's be honest, Yui Ishikawa is a fucking goddess. And Violet Evergarden is like one of her... It's definitely a magnum opus role for her because it's just she puts so much passion into this role, and you can tell by the voice performance.
I mean, we all know who she is. She's Mikasa from Attack on Titan.
2B.
She's 2B. She's 2B.
Oh dear.
And what can we say? She's really good at her
Yeah.
job.
And like she puts so much passion into this role of Violet Evergarden, and it comes through so much in this OVA side story. That I felt that it needed to be included here since we weren't able to include it in our awards show last year. I mean that's it. I mean, Violet Evergarden. If you haven't seen Violet Evergarden yet, do yourself a favor and go see it. It's on Netflix. It's absolutely amazing.
I'll pass.
Bring the tissues.
And bring tissues. Bring a lot of tissues because you will
no.
cry.
Well,
Listen, I went and saw this in theaters last year before, the Rona hit. That theater was nearly full, and I was surrounded at multiple parts of this OVA by sobbing weebs, and I was not alone. It was good to know.
honey, you're a faucet. And our last nominee is Yusuke Kobayashi as Natsuki Subaru from ReZero, Season 2, Part 1. I mean, who
It's
doesn't love to
Subaru.
hear Subaru scream?
There's a lot of screaming in
Me.
this role, and it's all done really, really well. There's also a fair amount of like crying and stuff that's done in this role as well. I feel like every like recording session, it's probably like a lot of lozenges being used afterwards because probably got a sore throat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was like no question this season, or this half season, I guess I should say, of ReZero, definitely another standout performance by Yusuke Kobayashi playing in that role.
Definitely, but we'll have to give the award to Megami Ogata as Hanako-kun because she is the queen and she deserves the crown.
Yeah, like, again, it's just, in Hanako-kun, she does a phenomenal job at portraying him. Not just, and she's typecasted so much, right? And it's just a shame that she gets typecasted, but there's a reason also why she's typecasted, because she's good at doing her job, at portraying these characters, and she probably has a lot more range. If I'm being honest, I think she could branch out to other things, but it's not a bad thing to also be typecasted because at least you're a fan favorite.
I mean, even though she does do a lot of Shota roles, I think her voice was really good as specifically a creepy Shota. So, like a lot of her lines are intended to scare the MC or like.
God,
creep
she
the
does
MC
almost
out.
exclusively do young boys. Holy shit, I'm looking through her roles right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
God
I know.
damn.
I recognized her voice almost immediately when I heard her. I was like, she's the one that gets typecasted as the Shotas, and I believe she's also in Persona 4. I think she's Naoto. Pretty sure she's Naoto.
Well, listen, there's a reason that she gets so many roles.
Yeah, she's good.
No, she's not in Persona 4. She's in Persona 3
Persona 3
as Ken
I thought she
Amada.
was Naoto. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
No, that makes sense. Anyway.
Moving on. So our final award is, of course, Anime of the Year. And I got to go through this quick because I got to get out of here in 10 minutes. So our first nominee is, of course, Great Pretender. What more needs to be said than has been said already tonight about Great Pretender?
It's good.
Yeah,
Watch it.
phenomenal animation, great soundtrack, good OP, good ED, great characters, great story. It's great, and it's the last time I'm gonna make that joke.
Okay.
Our second nominee for this category is, surprisingly, or maybe not, depending on how long you've been watching us, is interspecies reviewers. I think we wanted this on here just because of how fun it was watching this show.
And also, it's way better than the source material.
True.
The manga sucks.
The manga does kind of suck. Having gone and read it in the interim, like, the manga really does kind of suck.
I mean, a lot of ecchi shows can be problematic, anti-feminist, and not really that funny, really just pandering. But this show was really actually had good jokes, was sex positive, and I thought was just an overall just fun show. So yeah.
Yep. All right, our third nominee in this category is My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu Climax. Oh.
I definitely thought it was great. Like, season 3 was the best. It culminates very well, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed season 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. When we said it during our spoiler cast that I think the show itself gets off to a slightly slow start in its first few episodes, but definitely the third season is where it all just absolutely comes together. All the characters are written to their they play to their strengths so damn well throughout the entire season, and god damn it, Hachiman. Our fourth nominee in this category is ReZero Season 2 Part 1. Probably the most highly anticipated anime of 2020, I would say, at least of the ones that didn't get pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and didn't fail to deliver. Sure. I really liked how long this arc was compared to the first season. And I really liked how complicated and how many problems the main character is supposed to solve in this season.
I also liked how it brought back some pretty minor characters from season 1 and made them sort of central to the story in the second season. Good example being Otto. Very minor character from season 1 becomes very important in season 2. And then our fifth and final nominee for Anime of the Year is Tower of God.
Listen, it did a good job.
Honey, that plot twist, that's worth a nomination in and of itself.
Yeah. Like, no one saw it coming. No one. Literally no one. It's great.
Also worth mentioning
really
that
hyped.
This anime seems to be leading a charge of manhwa adaptations, so...
Yeah, which is great. I can't speak to Noblesse. I haven't read or watched that, but I believe there's a bunch of other manhwa I really want to see animated, so I'm hyped. Like, Tower of God, good job. You got people interested.
Yeah. But all that being said, we have decided to give our Anime of the Year award to Great Pretender.
I think it's the most well-rounded show this year. It excels in so many categories that and honestly, it's just a great show to just recommend to anyone. And it's really easily accessible, too.
I would like to say that we went back and forth a lot between Great Pretender and Interspecies reviewers, though, because I think, well, John has since gone and watched the entirety of Great Pretender, but like both of these shows are just fun.
Yeah, and I definitely think Great Pretender is Anime of the Year because it's like Sho said, it's well-rounded, it excels in so many categories, and overall, I just enjoyed watching it more. Like, it's a show that I didn't think I'd like. I didn't think I'd get into it because you guys were just singing praises of it, and I hate that, right? I hate it when people tell me this is a good show, and then I watch it, and I'm like, fuck, it is good.
It's like, god damn it, they told me. Why did they tell me?
No, but...
Well, because I hate watching shows that people tell me are good, because then it's obviously, it can't be good, but no, Great Pretender is actually amazing.
Yeah, Interspecies Reviewers was fun, and I definitely praise it for what it's done, but... watching Great Pretender was definitely an addictive experience. Like when the one episode ended, I really wanted to watch the next episode really badly.
I'm really glad that I didn't try and watch this week to week, although I don't know how I would have done that considering how it was released. But I can't imagine what it would have been like because I binged it and like I can't imagine having to watch this week to week because after one episode, I'm like, all right, what the fuck happens next?
Also, I really liked how Netflix did the dubbing. Like, during the parts where they're supposed to be speaking Chinese, they spoke Chinese. During the parts that they're supposed to be speaking English, they spoke English.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it with English dub, and it was not terrible. Yeah. I liked it in English better.
We mentioned that during our spoiler cast, how it doesn't assume that you're stupid. Like, they're speaking, like, characters will be speaking Japanese, but you understand as an audience member that they're actually speaking English to each other. They're just speaking Japanese because it's easier for the target audience to understand them.
Yeah, so watching an English dub I thought was fine.
Yeah.
Because they speak, when they're supposed to be speaking French, they speak French. Like,
Which is amazing to
this
see,
is
by
great.
the way.
Yeah, and props Netflix, man. They really put a lot of effort into this show, and it just, overall, the experience was the best of this year.
And they didn't do that thing they usually do where they actually had separate subtitle tracks for the different audio.
Yeah.
So proud of you, Netflix.
Yeah, because I know the Japanese dub had different subtitles than the English dub did.
Yeah.
Like, the English dub said different things than the Japanese subtitles did.
Yeah.
It was actually, they did, again, like I said, overall, great rounded show. Definitely anime of the year for me as well.
All right, well, that does it for our award show for 2020. We'll be back again next year to do it all over again for 2021. Definitely let us know down below if you think there was any nominees that we left out we should have considered and what you thought of our choices. But thank you all for dropping out there in to listen to us. Check out the description below. Find links to Anime Club After Dark on Twitch, social media, and on Discord. Check out our merch store and our affiliate links as well. Any purchases you make there will really help us out. I've actually recently gone in and added all of our Discord emojis as stickers you can buy on our store. And everyone seems to really like our emojis, especially the Poggers emojis. Actually, all of us now have our own Poggers emojis. But with that, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
This year, we need a Best Porn Award.
Damn straight.
Come on.